Since the beginning of time, humanity has faced nature's unpredictable challenges. One such phenomenon is El Niño. But what exactly is it, and why is it so significant, especially as we approach 2025? El Niño is not just a random weather pattern, it's a powerful force driven by changes in the Pacific Ocean. To put it simply, during normal years, trade winds push warm ocean waters towards the western Pacific, near Asia and Australia. Meanwhile, cooler waters rise near South America, creating a balance that affects global weather. But when El Niño strikes, this balance is disrupted. The warm waters shift towards South America, weakening the trade winds and flipping the system. This shift triggers a domino effect on weather patterns across the globe. In 2025, experts predict a stronger El Niño than usual. Why? The combination of natural cycles and human-induced climate change is creating the perfect storm. Oceans are warming at unprecedented rates, and this intensifies the effects of El Niño. But what does that mean for us? Imagine this. Regions like South America and the southern United States face torrential rains, resulting in widespread flooding. Meanwhile, countries in Asia, including India and Australia, might suffer severe droughts. Crops fail, economies struggle, and people are forced to adapt to extreme conditions. But El Niño's effects don't stop at weather. The oceans themselves undergo significant changes. Marine life is disrupted as warmer waters drive fish away from their usual habitats. Coral reefs, already under threat from climate change, face mass bleaching events. Even global temperatures rise during El Niño years, bringing record-breaking heatwaves. As we move further into this video, we'll uncover how El Niño impacts not only our weather but also our economies, food systems, and ecosystems. We'll explore how ancient civilizations adapted to similar phenomena and what modern science says about 2025. Could this be nature's way of warning us? Stay tuned, as the story of El Niño is just beginning. El Niño, the mysterious yet devastating climate phenomenon, is not just a weather event, it's a global disruptor that reshapes our planet's ecosystems and economies. As we look ahead to 2025, the predicted intensity of El Niño raises urgent questions about its far-reaching impacts. Let's dive into how this phenomenon could change the world as we know it. At its core, El Niño is an abnormal warming of the central and eastern Pacific Ocean, but its effects ripple far beyond these waters. The global weather system is deeply interconnected, and when one part changes, the rest feels the shockwaves. Regions that typically experience steady rainfall may face droughts, while areas prone to dry conditions could suddenly see relentless downpours. Take South America, for example. During El Niño years, countries like Peru and Ecuador are often inundated with heavy rains. This leads to severe flooding, destroying homes, displacing communities, and overwhelming infrastructure. Agricultural lands are submerged, and vital crops are lost, impacting food security and economies. At the same time, the warmer waters disrupt marine ecosystems, causing fish populations to dwindle. For fishing-dependent communities, this can mean economic collapse. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, the story is very different. Southeast Asia and Australia, which usually rely on consistent monsoon rains, are left dry and parched. In 2025, scientists predict that these regions could face some of the worst droughts in recent history. Rivers and reservoirs will dry up, forcing millions to contend with water shortages. The lack of rainfall also threatens food production, with staple crops like rice and wheat facing severe declines. Wildfires, already a growing concern due to climate change, are expected to become even more frequent and intense, particularly in Australia. In the United States, the southern and western regions often feel El Niño's wrath. Torrential rains and storms in places like California can lead to landslides and flash floods. At the same time, the northern states might experience unusually mild winters, disrupting ecosystems and agricultural cycles. Extreme weather events also put a strain on infrastructure, from roads and bridges to power grids, testing the resilience of modern cities. But El Niño's impact isn't confined to the land, it also profoundly affects the oceans. The warmer waters it generates lead to reduced upwelling, a process that brings nutrient-rich waters to the surface. This disrupts the marine food chain, starting with tiny organisms like plankton and extending to fish, seabirds, and marine mammals. Coral reefs, already under stress from rising sea temperatures, face mass bleaching events that could lead to widespread die-offs. This is especially concerning for coastal communities that rely on fishing and tourism for their livelihoods. Perhaps the most alarming aspect of El Niño is its ability to amplify global warming. During El Niño years, the Earth's average temperature tends to rise due to the release of heat stored in the oceans. In 2016, a strong El Niño contributed to the hottest year on record. With 2025 expected to bring another intense El Niño, we could see new temperature records, exacerbating heatwaves and putting additional pressure on ecosystems and human health. The economic toll of El Niño is another critical factor. In countries like India, where agriculture depends heavily on monsoon rains, droughts can lead to crop failures, food shortages, and inflation. In contrast, the flooding in South America disrupts industries, damages infrastructure, and requires massive investments in recovery efforts. Globally, El Niño-related events cost billions of dollars each year, making it one of the most expensive natural phenomena. Looking at history, ancient civilizations like the Mochi in Peru faced similar challenges. Archaeological evidence suggests that prolonged El Niño events may have contributed to their decline, as floods and droughts disrupted their agricultural systems. Despite advances in technology, modern societies are not immune to the challenges posed by El Niño. The question we face now is how to prepare for 2025. Scientists are closely monitoring the Pacific Ocean, using satellite data and climate models to predict the strength and duration of the upcoming El Niño. Governments and organizations worldwide are working to mitigate its effects, from improving water management systems to strengthening disaster response plans. As individuals, we must also play our part. Reducing our carbon footprint can help slow the pace of global warming, which intensifies El Niño events. Supporting sustainable farming practices and conserving water resources can make communities more resilient to the challenges ahead. In the next part of this video, we'll explore the scientific and spiritual perspectives on El Niño. Could this powerful phenomenon hold lessons for humanity about our relationship with nature? Stay with us as we uncover the deeper meaning behind one of Earth's most complex natural events. When we talk about El Niño, it's not just about forecasting the future. It's also about learning from the past. History is full of evidence showing how this climate phenomenon has repeatedly shaped civilizations, ecosystems, and even the course of human survival. As we anticipate the powerful El Niño of 2025, let's delve into the lessons that history can teach us. The story of El Niño stretches back thousands of years, with its impacts recorded in the ancient ruins and oral histories of past civilizations. One of the earliest known victims of El Niño's wrath was the Mochi civilization of ancient Peru. Archaeological evidence shows that this once thriving society faced catastrophic flooding and extended droughts, both hallmarks of El Niño. Rivers overflowed, washing away their intricate irrigation systems and farmlands, while periods of drought left them without water for crops. Unable to adapt, the Mochi eventually fell, a powerful reminder of how even advanced societies can be brought to their knees by climate. Fast forward to more recent history, and we see similar patterns repeating. The El Niño of 1877-1878 caused widespread famine and disease across the globe. In India, a lack of monsoon rains led to one of the most devastating famines in its history, claiming millions of lives. Similarly, in China, the droughts caused by El Niño disrupted agriculture, leading to widespread hunger and social unrest. These events were exacerbated by a lack of global communication and relief mechanisms at the time. Today, while our technologies have advanced, the interconnected nature of our world means that disruptions in one region can still have ripple effects across the globe. In 1982-83, a particularly intense El Niño brought unprecedented challenges, causing an estimated $8 billion in damages worldwide. From record-breaking floods in South America to severe droughts in Africa, the event underscored the devastating economic toll of El Niño. But it also sparked a wave of scientific research, as meteorologists and climate scientists worked to better understand and predict these phenomena. Another major El Niño occurred in 1997-98, often referred to as the strongest of the 20th century. Its impacts were staggering. Wildfires raged across Indonesia and Australia due to prolonged droughts, while flooding devastated California and other parts of the United States. The event claimed thousands of lives and caused billions of dollars in damages. However, it also highlighted the importance of early warning systems and international cooperation. Countries with advanced forecasting technologies were better able to prepare, saving countless lives. So, what can we learn from these historical examples as we prepare for 2025? First, history shows that El Niño doesn't just affect weather, it affects every aspect of life, from food production to public health and economic stability. During El Niño years, diseases like malaria and dengue fever often surge, as warmer and wetter conditions create ideal breeding grounds for mosquitoes. Similarly, food insecurity becomes a significant concern, as droughts and floods disrupt agricultural cycles. Second, history reminds us of the importance of resilience and adaptability. The civilizations that survived past El Niños were those that adapted to changing conditions. For example, ancient Andean societies developed terrace farming and sophisticated water storage systems to cope with unpredictable rainfall. In today's world, we can draw inspiration from these strategies, investing in infrastructure that can withstand extreme weather and developing farming practices that are less vulnerable to climate shocks. Third, history teaches us the value of global collaboration. El Niño is not confined to a single region, it's a global phenomenon that requires global solutions. The lessons of 1997-98 show that countries with access to advanced forecasting tools and disaster preparedness plans fare much better than those without. As we move toward 2025, international cooperation will be crucial in sharing knowledge, resources, and technologies to mitigate El Niño's effects. But it's not just about practical lessons. History also invites us to reflect on our relationship with nature. Ancient societies often viewed climate phenomena like El Niño as messages from the divine, warnings to live in harmony with the earth. While we now understand the scientific mechanisms behind El Niño, this perspective still holds value. The increasing intensity of El Niño events is linked to climate change, a stark reminder that our actions have consequences. The El Niño of 2025 is expected to be one of the strongest on record, and its impacts will likely be felt across every continent. In South America, heavy rains could once again lead to devastating floods, while in Africa and Asia, droughts may threaten food security for millions. In the United States, extreme weather events could strain infrastructure and disrupt everyday life. But unlike past generations, we have tools that can help us prepare. Advanced climate models allow scientists to predict El Niño events with greater accuracy than ever before. Governments and organizations are working to improve disaster response systems and support communities at risk. And as individuals, we can take steps to reduce our carbon footprint and support initiatives that promote sustainability. As we conclude this part of the video, it's clear that history holds valuable lessons for us as we face the challenges of El Niño. By learning from the past, we can better understand the present and prepare for the future. In the next segment, we'll explore how scientific advancements are helping us decode the mysteries of El Niño, and what these innovations mean for our ability to protect the planet. Stay with us as we uncover the science, history, and human stories behind one of Earth's most powerful natural phenomena. As we prepare for the anticipated El Niño event of 2025, one of the biggest questions is, how will it affect Earth's climate systems? To understand this, we need to explore the intricate connections between El Niño and the global climate, as well as the potential domino effects this event could trigger. At its core, El Niño disrupts the delicate balance of the Earth's atmospheric and oceanic systems. Normally, trade winds push warm water across the Pacific Ocean toward Southeast Asia and Australia, creating a cycle that drives weather patterns globally. But during an El Niño, these trade winds weaken or reverse, causing warm water to pool in the central and eastern Pacific. This warming sets off a chain reaction that influences everything from rainfall patterns to temperature extremes across the globe. In 2025, scientists predict that this warming will be especially intense, with global sea surface temperatures likely reaching record highs. This means we can expect profound changes to weather systems. For example, countries along the western coasts of North and South America, such as the United States, Peru, and Chile, could experience heavier than usual rainfall and an increased risk of flooding. Meanwhile, regions like Australia and Southeast Asia may face severe droughts as rainfall shifts away from these areas. One of the most concerning impacts of El Niño is its effect on heatwaves. During strong El Niño years, global temperatures often spike as the warm waters of the Pacific transfer heat to the atmosphere. This could exacerbate the already rising temperatures caused by climate change, pushing some regions into unprecedented heatwaves. The summer of 2025 may see record-breaking temperatures across continents, endangering vulnerable populations and putting strain on energy grids as air conditioning demand soars. Another critical area of impact is the disruption to monsoon systems. South Asia, particularly India, relies heavily on the monsoon rains for agriculture and water supply. During El Niño years, these rains often weaken or arrive late, leading to drought conditions that threaten food security for millions. In 2025, this could result in widespread crop failures and economic challenges in regions heavily dependent on farming. El Niño also has a significant effect on marine ecosystems. As the Pacific warms, nutrient-rich cold waters are pushed deeper, disrupting marine food chains. Fish populations, particularly anchovies and sardines, may decline, affecting fisheries and the economies that rely on them. Coral reefs, already stressed by climate change, could face further bleaching as sea temperatures rise, leading to the loss of biodiversity. The ripple effects of these changes go beyond the immediate weather patterns. Extreme weather events such as floods, droughts, and storms can disrupt supply chains, increase food prices, and displace communities. Diseases like malaria and dengue, which thrive in warm and wet conditions, could see a resurgence in tropical regions, putting additional strain on healthcare systems. While the impacts of El Niño are global, they don't affect every region equally. For some areas, the heavy rains may replenish water supplies or boost agricultural production. For others, the challenges will be immense, highlighting the importance of preparedness and adaptation. As we approach 2025, understanding the potential climate impacts of El Niño isn't just a matter of scientific curiosity, it's a call to action. Governments, communities, and individuals must work together to mitigate these effects, from investing in climate-resilient infrastructure to developing early warning systems and contingency plans. In the next part of our video, we'll explore the role of science and technology in tracking and preparing for El Niño events, and how these advancements can help us navigate the challenges ahead. Stay tuned. To prepare for the challenges that El Niño 2025 may bring, technology plays a crucial role in understanding, predicting, and mitigating its impacts. With advancements in science and data collection, humanity now has powerful tools to decode the complex behavior of this phenomenon and respond proactively to its effects. El Niño events are primarily monitored through an intricate network of satellites, buoys, and climate models. Satellites orbiting the Earth continuously observe ocean temperatures, wind patterns, and cloud formations. These instruments provide high-resolution data, allowing scientists to track changes in sea surface temperatures, particularly in the Pacific Ocean, which is the focal point of El Niño. For 2025, scientists are relying on these satellites to detect early warming trends and assess the strength of the event, which could be among the most intense on record. In the oceans themselves, a network of buoys forms another critical layer of monitoring. Known as the Tropical Atmosphere Ocean (DAO-Array), these buoys are strategically placed across the equatorial Pacific. They measure real-time data on temperature, salinity, and currents from the ocean's surface to its depths. The DAO-Array allows climatologists to detect early warning signs of El Niño by observing the weakening of trade winds and the pooling of warm water in the eastern Pacific. Supercomputers and climate models are the backbone of El Niño predictions. These advanced systems analyze the immense volumes of data collected from satellites and buoys, simulating atmospheric and oceanic processes with remarkable accuracy. Using historical data and current conditions, they generate forecasts that project the potential intensity, duration, and global impacts of El Niño. For 2025, climate models are already providing insights into how weather systems may shift, helping governments and organizations prepare for extreme events like floods and droughts. Technology is also aiding in communication and preparedness. Weather apps and platforms, powered by artificial intelligence, deliver real-time updates and warnings to individuals and communities. In regions prone to El Niño-induced disasters, early warning systems are being enhanced to ensure timely evacuation plans and disaster response strategies. These systems have already saved countless lives in past events, and their importance cannot be overstated for 2025. Agriculture, One of the sectors most vulnerable to El Niño is leveraging technology to adapt. Satellite imaging and predictive analytics are helping farmers make informed decisions about planting and irrigation. Drones are being used to monitor crop health and assess damage caused by erratic weather. These technological solutions are critical in minimizing the economic losses associated with crop failures during El Niño years. However, while technology offers incredible tools for prediction and preparation, it also highlights the limitations of human intervention. El Niño's complex nature means that even the most advanced models cannot predict every detail. This unpredictability requires a combination of technological preparedness and community resilience. Governments and global organizations must continue investing in research and infrastructure to mitigate the risks associated with El Niño. In the context of 2025, technology is humanity's strongest ally against the disruptions of El Niño. From predicting its onset to managing its impacts, technological advancements are helping us navigate the challenges posed by this climatic event. Yet, as we harness these tools, it's equally important to recognize the need for global cooperation and collective action. In the next section, we'll discuss how communities and governments around the world are preparing to face the challenges of El Niño 2025 and why these efforts are critical for survival and sustainability. Stay tuned. As El Niño 2025 looms on the horizon, global preparedness efforts are ramping up to mitigate its anticipated impacts. Governments, organizations, and individuals are working in unison to devise strategies that ensure resilience against the extreme weather patterns and disruptions this phenomenon may bring. From disaster planning to fostering international cooperation, the focus is on minimizing harm while learning to adapt to an increasingly unpredictable climate. Government initiatives. Governments in El Niño-prone regions have already begun implementing robust action plans. These include fortifying infrastructure, enhancing water management systems, and updating evacuation protocols in flood-prone areas. Countries such as the Philippines, Indonesia, and Australia, which are often at the forefront of El Niño's impacts, are investing heavily in disaster preparedness programs. These efforts include deploying emergency supplies, improving shelter facilities, and organizing public awareness campaigns to educate citizens about potential risks. In drought-affected regions like parts of Africa and South America, governments are focusing on water conservation and sustainable farming practices. Desalination plants, reservoirs, and irrigation systems are being prioritized to ensure a steady water supply during prolonged dry spells. These measures are vital for safeguarding food security and preventing mass displacement due to agricultural losses. International collaboration. Recognizing that El Niño's effects transcend borders, international organizations are stepping in to promote collaboration. The World Meteorological Organization (WMO) is spearheading global monitoring efforts, sharing real-time data and forecasts with member nations. Similarly, the United Nations and humanitarian agencies are pooling resources to assist vulnerable populations, ensuring rapid response in the event of a crisis. Financial aid and technological support from developed nations are also playing a crucial role. For instance, funding for climate resilience projects in developing countries has increased, helping them adopt advanced technologies and build adaptive capacities. These global partnerships underscore the importance of solidarity in facing a shared environmental challenge. Community resilience. At the grassroots level, communities are coming together to prepare for El Niño 2025. In coastal towns, residents are participating in evacuation drills and fortifying their homes against rising sea levels. Farmers are diversifying their crops to include drought-resistant varieties, while fishermen are adjusting to changes in marine ecosystems caused by warming waters. These localized efforts, often supported by non-governmental organizations, are critical for building resilience and reducing dependency on external aid. The role of individuals. Individuals also have a part to play in mitigating the effects of El Niño. Simple actions such as conserving water, reducing energy consumption, and supporting sustainable practices can collectively make a significant difference. Moreover, staying informed about weather updates and adhering to safety guidelines during emergencies can save lives. A call to action. While technology and planning provide powerful tools, El Niño 2025 serves as a stark reminder of humanity's vulnerability to nature's forces. This climatic event underscores the urgent need for sustainable development and proactive environmental stewardship. By addressing root causes such as deforestation and greenhouse gas emissions, we can mitigate the severity of future El Niño events. In conclusion, El Niño 2025 is not just a challenge but also an opportunity, a chance to demonstrate the resilience, innovation, and unity that define us as a global community. Through preparedness, collaboration, and sustainable practices, we can navigate the turbulence ahead and emerge stronger, ready to face the uncertainties of a changing climate. Stay connected to our channel for more in-depth insights on environmental phenomena, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Together, we can prepare for what's coming and make a difference.